Does corporate planning pay off? This is a question of our study and of our research paper. Corporate planning is a major issue in a lot of fields. In production management, in operations management, in accounting and control, and in strategic management. But does it really pay off? This is a question of my presentation and of our research paper. Let me briefly describe the tension behind our paper. I would like to do that with some sayings. First is from the Bible, the book of books. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. That means for business, so we can have ideas how to plan, but finally it goes wrong or goes in a different direction. Another saying which is coming from practice is planning is a replacement of chance. That means doing nothing. By error, that means going wrong. Also, what you can find very often in practice is planning doesn't make sense for us because the future is too uncertain. So we should not plan, which corresponds with, and even if everything is safe, then I don't need a plan. That is called the planning paradox. Does planning pay off is the research question of our paper, which is called Meta-Analysis of the Corporate Planning Organization Performance Relationship, a research note. It's joint work with Peter, Mike Harman, Oliver Half, and myself, Thomas Günther, and it has been recently published in the Strategic Management Journal. What is the design of our empirical study? If we go on the theoretical level, we want to explore the interactions, the relationship between corporate planning and organization performance. Here, the direction goes from corporate planning to organization performance, but we also explore the other direction, which goes from organization performance to corporate planning, and which means that companies who have a good performance, who have, for example, slack capacity, can invest in corporate planning and will have a better planning system. If we go on the next level, on the empirical level, we want to look at how did we measure corporate planning and organization performance. What is corporate planning? It's a formal system. It's an explicit system, not a system which is your gut feeling. It's systematic and it's on an organizational level, and it supports the decision making within a company or organization. Decades ago, corporate planning was measured by the question, do you have a corporate plan, yes or no? That is no longer valid. Nowadays, we ask for the sophistication level of the corporate planning system. How do we measure organization performance? We focus on the financial performance and don't regard non-financial performance measures. We focus on the corporate, the organizational level, and we look on 4 dimensions: the liquidity of an organization, the earnings, the growth of an organization, and if it's on the stock market performance. But there are also other potential control variables. We explore additionally so-called contingency factors, so factors which may have an impact on the relationship of corporate planning and organization performance. That is the industry, the type of industry, the level of environmental uncertainty, which is connected with the planning paradox. So the national culture raises the question, do we have same effects of corporate planning in Asia than in Europe or North America? Are there cultural differences? And finally, we look whether an organization is small or large, and whether the effect size is different. We also explore methodological factors. So when was it measured? Where does the study come from? Is it from the 70s or from the 2010s? We explore the direction of the effect, so the effect of corporate planning on organization performance, or vice versa, organization performance on corporate planning. And we also look on different types of planning. Is it strategic planning, business planning, or operational planning? And finally, we also look at the type of measurement. How is organization performance measured? How is corporate planning measured in the studies? And also journal quality. What methods do we use and what data do we apply? In our paper, we use meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is a statistical method where you analyze other empirical studies, where you can run a moderator analysis, looking at what are the differences between the different empirical studies. Then you also can use a meta-regression, where you not only analyze one factor which may have an impact on the effect sizes, but similar to a normal regression, you can analyze different factors at the same time. We use the approach of Schmidt and Hunter, and this allows the correction of measurement and errors and of dichotomization. Meta-analysis allows the conversion of different statistical correlation measures in one single effect size, which is a correlation between -1 and +1. -1 would mean, for our context, that the better the planning system, the worse the performance of the company. And the correlation of +1 would mean the better the planning system, the better and the higher the organization performance of the company. The meta-analysis allows finally the aggregation of different study effects to a joint population effect, and thereby you can investigate their differences and also the heterogeneity by using moderating effects. What is the data we apply? Our study is based on other studies, so we use 183 independent study samples from 158 publications. So we don't focus on what is quite familiar in a lot of studies, 200 or 300 firms. Our study is based on more than 30,000 organizations. What are our key findings? First of all, we find that the corrected effect size between corporate planning, or for the relationship between corporate planning and organization performance, is round about 0.2, which is quite strong. And if you look on the confidence interval, what you can see here, there is no zero in the interval, which means that this study effect is significant different from zero. However, the variance explained is 34%, though there must be other factors which have an impact on the heterogeneity of the effect sizes. And this is what we explore using contingency factors. The first contingency factor we look at is industry. What you can see here, that the effect size for non-manufacturing industries, which are, for example, service industries or the public sector, is lower than for manufacturing industries. And what you can see here is that the mean effect size is not part of the confidence interval for the other group of the manufacturing industry. So the 0.151 of non-manufacturing industry is not included in the confidence interval of the manufacturing industries. That means that the difference is significant, that industry has an impact on the effect sizes. How can we explain this? Manufacturing industries are much more complex. You have to buy products, you have to buy raw materials, you have to organize the production, you have to organize sales and services. This is a lot of planning, and therefore, because it's much more complex, planning pays off if you can really aggregate and harmonize the different planning issues. A second contingency factor we look on at is uncertainty avoidance. It's a factor for the natural culture. So the type of nations where the study comes from, and uncertainty avoidance means how aware is a nation for taking risk, or how reluctant is a nation for taking and accepting uncertainty. So let me give you an example. The country with the lowest uncertainty avoidance is Singapore, and the country with the highest uncertainty avoidance is Greece. So if we compare both groups, we can see that here the mean value for low avoidance is also included in the confidence interval for the high avoidance groups. So far from the moderator analysis, the differences are not significant. However, if we look on the beta regressions, we find significant different results. And finally, what we find is the higher the uncertainty avoidance, the higher the effect sizes. So planning especially pays off in countries where the population is seeking for avoiding uncertainty. The third factor we analyze is environmental uncertainty. So this is connected with a planning paradox. That means, can we really plan if the environment is uncertain? If we look at the group of low uncertainty, we can see that the effect size is higher than in the group of high uncertainty. So it better pays off if you have a low uncertainty in your firms, in your organization environments, than when you have a high uncertainty. So actually, the planning paradox is somehow confirmed. Finally, in the fourth analysis, we analyze whether there is a difference between small firms, small organizations, and large organizations. And we find that for larger organizations, it better pays off to invest in corporate planning than in smaller organizations. Smaller organizations may be easier to handle because just by walking around, you can see a lot of things. You can use your gut feeling to make good decisions, what doesn't work anymore in larger, complex organizations, where you have to use a high sophisticated planning system. Finally, we also analyze and we also find that our results are robust for different types of planning, so it doesn't matter whether you use strategic planning, operational planning, or business planning. So the lesson learned is we have to plan at all. Whatever you plan, planning pays off. And the direction of the effect also doesn't matter. So we find a positive effect from organization performance on corporate planning, but also vice versa from corporate planning on organization performance. Our results are also robust if we look only on organizations that come from the US. And if we look on time, the effect is also stable. Over time, actually, it slightly increases, so the effect size is getting higher from decade to decade. And it also doesn't matter what journal the study is coming from, so the quality, the type of journal, actually doesn't matter for our study. However, what matters is the type of measurement of corporate planning and of organizational performance. You will find the details in our study. Let me conclude with a last remark. Perhaps you missed the details. What you can find here is the paper was first submitted December 21, 2013 and was accepted December 7, 2022. So round about 9 years later. That actually was a lot of work, and we made fine rounds with Strategic Management Journal, but finally we made it. Therefore, I would like to conclude that research is 90% transpiration and 10% inspiration. Thank you so much and enjoy our paper.